Hey friends, here's a look at the Insoon Christmas double-decker bus. We're going to look at the box, we'll look at some of the parts, we'll look through these instructions. It has a lighting kit, so we'll look at the lighting kit and we'll look at the sticker sheet so you know what you're in for. Starting with the box, let's look at the build and what you're getting. You're getting this over-the-top double-decker red bus, and it has this oversized Santa character that's driving this bus. The bus has antlers on it, and it's got this giant Christmas tree on the top, a snowman. There's an interior room here with picnic style tables. It's got musical instruments inside, and then the inside of this is filled with gifts. The top is filled with gifts, and it's got this slide out like gift deployment stand or something. It slides out, and then you can get your gifts from here, or send the gifts out from this slide out area. The whole thing is just so comical. I had to get it. It reminds me of those old stop motion animations in the vein of like Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It just has that ridiculous, over-the-top vibe to it. So I love it. I had to get it. Here's the back of that box. It just has the same image, and yet another same image of that. Here's a look at something inside. You've got a little tiny reindeer build with a red nose, and another look at that slide out compartment. And here's what it looks like. Oh, the difference here is that it's pushed in. So that compartment, almost like a food truck style window, is pushed in on this side of it. So potentially a lot of play value here. It's kind of fun. The tires are small, which is kind of what you want for this look. You want it to feel wonky, oversized, and a little funny on the proportions, and that's what they've done. You've got 5 bags, and within each bag is multiple small bags. But here's bag 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The parts are Lego compatible. So looking at this, the colors and the part designs are familiar to you. They should look familiar, and the parts, for the most part, yeah, they're ones that look pretty close to Legos. As far as red goes, I've noticed with Insoon and a couple other companies, the red is typically a slightly more milky color, and it's the same here. The red is not quite as vibrant as on Lego sets. We do have, these parts that have a lot more colors, smaller parts that are in there. Bag 3 is where you get the tires and the wheels. You can see they're the smaller wheels. The tires are in here. Are they in here? Maybe I'm mistaken which one. Oh, here we go. They're kind of hidden in there, but there's a tire right there. So, they're kind of the smaller city tires. Bag 4, more detail. A lot of colors. If you love sets with lots of colors, this is a set with lots of colors. You'll enjoy that. Okay. And then they do have this other bag. It's called bag 0. Bag 0 is typically the larger pieces. So they have the plates in here, and they have a couple of the transparent pieces separately bagged, which is nice so that they don't get scratched up. The other thing they put in here is one of those large 6x6 tiles, and they put it in its own bag so it doesn't get scratched up. The way they've bagged this, it reminds me of a piece of chocolate or something they've put in there. Ghirardelli chocolate. All right, and then you get these that are loose in the box. Big plate, and one of these flexible hoses. There are a lot of stickers. As far as I could tell, there were no printed pieces. There might be, I don't know, like for example, this license plate here. I don't see a sticker for that license plate, so maybe that's either it's a mistake here or it's a sticker. So yeah, we'll find out. The sticker it looks like it's clear backed, so you're meant to put these onto clear pieces so that things still show through, the original colors still show through, and you might have to put them on windows, which is sometimes a pain. use a little bit of Windex or some sort of liquid to help you, and you'll be fine. Here's the lighting kit. It is a 2x4 brick. It's a generic lighting kit, and it's one of those styles where it's just a light string. So it comes with the batteries. Let's pull this little isolator out, and you just flip this on, and boom, there it is. Now, when they say light kit, right, I always examine the product photos to see if it's really a light kit or if it's just a light string. Because honestly, putting a light string is the laziest way to light up a model, because you string it through the inside and then boom, there's lights. But and sometimes it can be effective, but the best way to get a lighting kit is probably the way Lumi bricks do it, which is they have specialized light parts that go in specific places. They have just the right amount of wire, all of that. So it lights it up in a realistic way so that the light sources look like they're coming from the lamps in your model and in the sconces and things like that, or the fireplace. So that's the best way to do lighting, but I understand to keep costs down, sometimes they just go with light string. All right, so let's look at the instruction book. It's a matte book, pretty thick. As far as I could tell, it was fairly easy to read. The colors are slightly on the darker side, but it tells you what each bag will build for you as you build it up. And some of the bags are just dedicated to the upper floor and to that giant Christmas tree that's on there. And so as you're going through here, you'll see that they gray out the previous steps so that you can focus on the new parts that are getting added for that step. So that's kind of nice. You can see that there's a whole driving area that you build out for Santa. There's windows and there's an entire compartment for Santa. And then Santa himself is his own build. So there's quite a bit of pieces for him. You get a head, you get an upper torso, and I think that's it. There's no legs for Santa. Looks like you just pop them in there. So if you want to take Santa out and have him stand on his own, you might have to do that with your own pieces. Quite a bit of room in there. It looks quite roomy. And you'll get into a section where you start building presents that go into the inside. Oh, you know who's in there is Rudolph. So Rudolph gets the most of that space is all for Rudolph. And then here we're building that slide out window with all the gifts. There's a small like rocking horse build that's in there. And is that the light brick? It is. Okay, so what they've done is they are hiding the light brick and integrating it into the build, which is nice. I like that. So it's red on purpose, and there's a 2x6, 2x4 tile that goes on the top of it. You slide it in. It looks like you slide it in, and that exposes the on-off switch. So now you have access to the on-off switch from the outside. So although the light kit is on the lazier side because, basically they're stringing the wire throughout, I have to give them credit because they've made it integrated pretty well into the model, and you still have access to the on-off switch without having to open up the model. So I'm glad they did that. Thank you for doing that. If you have to do a light string kit, then that's the way to do it. Moving on into the rest of it, you see here antlers that are getting built up for the top. Here's a bunch of presents that get added to the back of that second floor. Really colorful present models. I like that. Oh, and that was a look at the kind of picnic table or table that goes in the front of that. So what we're looking at right here is the front section here. And there's also musical instruments that go in there too. So there's a saxophone and a guitar that go in there. And I like that none of these things just sit there. They're all connected with studs. So they have some bit of connectivity, and so they don't rattle around or fall out. So I like that they did that. All right, and then you keep on building. Here we're building the big Christmas tree. It looks like a pretty structurally significant Christmas tree. There's a lot to it here. Probably better than you know, what you get from Lego for the free gift with the purchase, you're getting a pretty good tree here, one that's been built out. Here's a look at all of the side builds that end up being built as part of it. There's a wreath on the very back. That's cool. Yeah, and so they're showing you all the different sides. And there you go. So that's a look at this build. I'm looking forward to making it or building it. I think it's quirky. It's kind of fun. There's a lot of Christmas stuff in my queue. I'm debating whether or not to be building this stuff so early and posting about it so early. But you know what? It gives you plenty of time to plan and buy it and build it. If you want to add it to your own Christmas or winter decorations. Some people out there, they have entire Lego cities that they build and they winterize them. You know, that's a whole thing where you have a Lego city and then you make it ready for all the holidays. So that's cool. And so you'll have some time to do that, some time to think about it. If you like this video, hit like. If you could subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. And thank you very much. I hope this was helpful.